We're going to go over those 3 steps to make sure that you and your business never have to worry about where your next transaction is going to come from. Now, the thing is, about 87% of agents, statistically speaking, will, as we know, fail in the first 5 years. Those statistics differ depending on the website that you get the information from. The reality is, even if it's true, 13% of agents that are quote unquote succeeding, they're not exactly crushing it. So maybe they're able to stay afloat. So I guess our gauge for quote unquote success is they renew their license, which isn't really much of a gauge. We want to make sure that you're not just kind of like keeping it afloat. Not only are you not going to be one of those statistics, but you're also one of the agents that aren't just keeping your business afloat, but you're absolutely freaking crushing it. And that is the idea. And that's what I want to get you guys started on today. So the first thing is, like I said, welcome to this webinar. We're going to go over the 3 steps, take you from consistent real estate transactions so you never have to worry about that next transaction. And as I mentioned a couple of times, if you do stick around until the end, I will give you a copy of the Inabox proprietary Vid100 scheduler. They are 100 social media ideas for you to post really engaging videos. These are tried, they're tested, they're true. And it doesn't matter if you're in, like, let's say this niche or that niche. It doesn't matter which market you're in. The way that we kind of question these things is that they could be repurposed and made very exclusively your own. Yeah, so these 100 videos are at least over 3 months worth of content for you guys to be creating. And I wanted to make the most of this opportunity. So if you are here right now, please do me a favor, turn off Facebook, put your phone on Do Not Disturb, give this webinar all of your attention, because the strategies that I'm going to show you are the exact strategies that real estate agents, brokers, and team leads have leveraged to actually scale and build their real estate empires. So a little bit about myself. I think everybody here pretty much knows who I am, at least superficially knows who I am. I'm the host of the Real Marketer podcast. It is a live coaching podcast for realtors. I think maybe some of you guys have even been guests on the show. If anybody wants to be a guest on the show, it's a ton of fun, and you get some good stuff out of that. So just let me know. I've been featured in different publications about real estate, obviously, featured on other people's podcasts. I'm a real estate marketing coach. We've got some of our clients here on this call, just a couple. Spoken at some conferences. That was a ton of fun. And I created the scale engine framework that I'm going to be showing you today. And then I created Inabox out of all of that. So the question is, why is now the time to focus on consistency? Meaning now, basically, a lot of agents, I'm not saying all agents, but a lot of agents are basically struggling just to get from one day to the next. Worrying about consistency is like, that's kind of a tomorrow goal. Why now? Because if the real estate market's taught us anything the last 3 years, it's that we can't predict what's going to happen from one month to the next, right? In good times, everyone is successful. In the tough times, the busy agents get busier and the stragglers really struggle. That's what happens. And some of the agents, let's say, if you guys are the busier agents, you know what I'm talking about. And if you guys are some of the agents that aren't necessarily having the easiest time, even in the good times, you're really going to be struggling now. That's just generally speaking what I find, right? It's not the time to wait for referrals. Now is the time to be proactive. This is not the time to wait for referrals. This is not the time to just rely on those 3 buyers that you're working with, hoping that they'll close, because if they close, I'll be okay. Fingers crossed. Like, it doesn't work like that, especially not now. This is not the time to wait for the market to pick up, quote unquote. And this is also not the time to neglect your database. This is a time to double down on everything we've got going on. So why now? Now is the time to take action, because you don't want to be that person that, let's say, in 2 months from now is possibly really struggling and thought, oh, I should have done something about it. Now is the time to do something about it. Okay. I want you to imagine for a second, this will really paint a clear picture about what I actually mean. Imagine you have a client that's looking for a house with 3 bedrooms for his family, with a really nice yard that his dog can run around in a really good school district, with a separate basement to rent out under $500,000. Now, you know, in your market, this is something that could actually be accomplished. And sure enough, you find it. You find a house that's absolutely perfect. It's 4 bedrooms. You were looking for 3, but it's 4 bedrooms. It's $485,000. So it's under what his budget was. It's a massive yard fenced in. The dog will be happier than ever. It's a gorgeous area, great school district, phenomenal schools. I'm sure you guys probably know what's coming next. I don't know. I think I read somewhere that the market might be shifting. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. The house is 4 bedrooms. I kind of wanted 3. What am I going to do with that extra space? Make it a games room. I don't know. But that's what you're thinking. But you don't say, you go, absolutely, for sure. And in your head, you're like, what are you, crazy? Maybe the price is going to come down. You're like, yeah, maybe it will. And maybe it'll go up $80,000. And you'll be like, I should have done it. Yep. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. And they go, I'm not sure if I like the red bricks. Like, this is what happens. And I can see some of you guys are smiling. This is relatable, right, guys? Yeah. Okay. I see Nelson back there. Like, his whole body is nodding. Like, you've had experiences, I can see.
I just had it happen last week.
What happened? Tell me.
They did end up putting in the offer, but they said almost this exact thing except for the red brick.
It's exhausting. It is. Seriously, it's exhausting. And so this is kind of what you feel like. It's like, are you kidding me? Right? So what am I saying this for? What's the relevance? The point is, in hot markets, it's very easy to say, well, we're doing well. We don't really need to change anything. That's when things are going well. When things are tough, we say, oh yeah, we probably should have done something about this to prevent this from happening. We're in a tough market right now. It's been tougher, but it's certainly been better. This is no longer just about investing for the future, although looking after your consistency now is also about investing in the future, but it's also about making sure that right now your business is not only going to survive, right? Making sure that your business can not only potentially survive tough times one day, it's about making sure that your business is going to thrive right now. And let me reiterate, none of the stuff that I'm going to say is easy. It's all simple. It's not easy. In my mind, anybody in my program knows, and again, I got a couple people here. Anybody in my program knows none of the stuff that I give away are hacks. They all require effort and work. But the idea is if as long as you have a clear path in front of you, you know what to do, you'll only ever have yourself to blame. That's the most that anybody's going to be able to do for you. Right? So guys, let me know in the chat, who is ready to stop procrastinating, start taking action, and decide that now is the time that they're going to take their business to another level. I guess write me in the chat if this is going to be you, because I really do want to see this. Again, everything that I talk about is entirely reliant on someone's ability to, not to be cliche, but to kind of show up and do the work. And so it's really important that no one's kind of relying on this to be like, that's it. I don't have to do the work because Oliver's going to show me everything. It's like, yeah, I'll show you, but the work kind of is on your end. So this is what it actually looks like. Imagine if you could be the real estate expert in your market that everybody knows about, to the point where every single day, people are reaching out to you, begging to work with you, right? Annette, just do me a favor, nod or shake your head. We've done some of this stuff for you, right? People are reaching out to you, asking to work with you, right? Can you do me a favor, if you wouldn't mind, just go on mute. Tell us a little bit about what happened with the news station.
Well, when I first started working with Oliver at the time, what we did was got me to the top of Google, and I don't even remember, was that a week or two later? It was pretty quick that they just Googled realtor in my area, and I was the first one that came up. So they called me and I was on the news. I was actually on the news twice, simply because of following the steps that, that Oliver gives us.
A lot of people like to exaggerate kind of the effects of this stuff, and none of it's easy. Again, it requires work, but it can be done, and you really can be that expert. Everybody wants to have the person who was on the news, so Annette's now that person. Imagine having systems in place to automatically generate leads, qualify leads, nurture leads in your pipelines so that your business is working when you're not. Imagine every day having an influx of new business opportunities flooding your pipeline, ensuring that you can legitimately make real money every single day. So a lot of agents, like say the 13% of agents that quote unquote succeed, they're not waking up every day with money-making opportunities. They're waking up every day going like, what should I do today to kind of maybe move my business forward? That's not really what we want to do. We want to move forward every day. We're saying, I know what I need to do to make money today. You're not going to make money every day, just to be clear, but every day you have opportunities to make money or to move money forward closer to you. The problem is you've tried posting on social media, creating a YouTube channel, writing blogs to start quote unquote building a name for yourself. Guys, let me know in the chat at any point in time if any of this sounds like you, right? YouTube channel, writing blogs, quote unquote building a name for yourself. You've tried nurturing your database by calling every single lead periodically, sending them market updates, setting them up on automated house searches, launching e-blasts to follow up with your leads. Sure, you know what's going to be happening next. Yep, tried all this, exactly. You've tried working with Zillow leads, leads from your brokerage, cold calling people, working with agencies to try and muster up serious conversations with semi-interested buyers or sellers, and you end up feeling like this dude over here who's probably going to break his head open. The problem is, all of the stuff that you've done is not working. For some reason, that is otherwise unbeknownst to you. You're doing all of the things that these quote-unquote experts are telling you to do. You've subscribed to every single Tom Ferry, Ricky Carruth, and there's no slide on these guys. These guys are legends in my mind. They're absolutely brilliant. The problem is, for some reason, sounds nice in theory, it doesn't work for you. Why the heck not? And for those of you who are asking, but I've been posting on social media for months now. Shouldn't this be working by now? Where am I going wrong with my follow-up that's causing my database to, at absolute best, ignore my messages, but more than likely unsubscribe to me? For those of you who are asking, but there are so many people buying and selling in my market, why the heck isn't anyone calling me to list or buy a home with them? Again, let me know in the chat if this sounds like you, because this is what happens. I want, by the end of the day, for all of these questions that you have to genuinely, truly be answered so that you feel confident moving forward. That's what I want. But none of these things, social media not working out, for example, the leads not coming in, people not calling you, not having the systems in place, none of those are your faults. And I'll tell you why. You've always been told something that simply wasn't true. Let me explain. You can become a household name on social media, YouTube, podcasts, even if people aren't engaging with your content yet. Even if people are not engaging with your content, you can still do it. You can set up the right systems and automations to nurture your audience in a way that actually leads to more conversations and transactions. And you can have more quality conversations with seriously interested buyers and sellers that are actually looking for a legitimate professional that they can trust. Not those tire kickers that want to look at houses 45 minutes to 2 hours away from your area just because they're curious to see what the porch looks like. Real people that are actually interested in buying or selling with you. And you don't need to have 100,000 followers on Instagram to be the undisputed, unequivocal expert. You don't need to call every single lead in your database every month to maintain that personal connection with them. And you don't need to spend hundreds or even thousands of dollars, see if you can hear the sarcasm here, on lead generation strategies that might possibly one day hypothetically start a few conversations with a few leads that might possibly hypothetically one day want to buy or sell a home. Like, how irritating is that as a lead generation strategy? It frickin' sucks, guys. Nod your head if this has happened to you, right? You pay thousands of dollars a lead generation strategy and like, I don't know, maybe one day it'll work. I don't know, hopefully. And then these people have the chutzpah on the sales call with you to tell you that you got to spend money to make money and that you've got to be willing to invest in your business. Like, yeah, I'm willing to invest in my business. It's not the investment that I'm not willing to do. It's the fact that I don't know that this is going to work and you're not giving me any reason to trust you. That's the problem, right? So this looks like this is really resonating with you, but I do want you to get excited about being here right now, because we're going to show you exactly how to get results like this. Like Patrick. So just a heads up, Annette was here before Patrick. So Annette saw this. Matt, I believe, came actually after Patrick. When Patrick started with us, he had little to no engagement on social media. Patrick started incorporating some of our social media strategies and generates now literally hundreds of engagements on his posts. If you don't believe me, go and check it out. This is what's happening now. He created a YouTube channel that worked for him, that showcased him as the expert in his own organic, authentic way. And this is what's happening. Right? Over 160 engagements there on the left, over almost 65 comments on the right. How about Annette? Again, can vouch for this. She's on the call right now. Followed our frameworks to set up her systems and processes and now generates free, hyper-qualified leads literally round the clock. So if you guys search up realtors in Davis County, Utah, you're going to find Annette number 2 overall. And if that doesn't scream authority, I don't know what the heck does. So Annette is the undisputed expert in her area. Or how about Zahava, who when she started with us just a few months ago said, I can't do social media. That's just not for me. It's not my jam. And now what's happening is her Instagram reels are garnering sometimes over 20,000 views on a single reel. 20,000 views. And again, this is what works for her. I'm not telling you every single person who comes in is going to get this. The idea is which works for you and how do we make that happen? Annette isn't crushing it on Instagram. Annette is crushing it on YouTube right now. It's about making it work for you. So the question is, in your mind, what would it mean for you to have 10 to 25,000 people seeing your face every day? Probably make it a hell of a lot easier for you to be that undisputed expert. And how about Matt? Again, Matt's on this call right now, so he can call me a liar if he wants to. Matt started running Facebook ads from Inabox's copy and paste ad vault, using our target strategies, using our follow-up campaigns, coming to our lead generation calls and generating more quality leads. Again, Matt, call me out if I'm a liar, for $300, more than most lead generation agencies would be able to for literally $2,000 per month. You don't believe me? This is what Matt's pipeline looks like after approximately 1.5, 2 months of working with us. This is what it looks like. That's not a long time, guys. There's over 70 leads in there. Now, that's not to say that there's 70 buyers and sellers calling Matt being like, please sell my $2 million home. Matt's got to put in the work. And this works for Matt, and it will continue to work for Matt because he's willing to do it. So none of the stuff that I'm saying is easy. And I will be the first to tell you, if anybody's not willing to put in the work on these strategies, they will not work out for you. But if you are, they will. And there's no reason that you can't be one of those people that's the recognizable household name in their market, that gets to go on vacations while their businesses essentially run themselves, and that has a never-ending flow of business opportunities to convert. And it all starts right here, right now, in this webinar, with something that we at Inabox, that I'm going to walk through slowly today. We at Inabox call this the scale engine. Guys, do me a favor, by show of hands, or if you're in the chat, if you don't want to go on video, can you guys let me know if anybody's familiar with the scale engine? I kind of want to know who I'm talking to right now. People know what the scale engine is. Annette, I know you know what the scale engine is. Tia knows what the scale engine is. Nelson does. Bill, I see a half nod over there. I'm not sure. Andy's yes. Perfect. Alex, yes. Okay, guys. So the scale engine is the framework that we follow at Inabox. This is what it all comes down to. Now, as I mentioned to a couple of you guys earlier, there's a lot of stuff that I'm just not able to get to on this call simply from a time perspective. So the scale engine is obviously quite a bit more robust than whatever I'm going to show you. But I'm going to give you a very, very, very small sneak preview, as much as I possibly can with a short amount of time allotted to me. This scale engine that we're about to go through will allow you to build a brand that will do the selling for you. How much harder is it to sell a home when nobody knows who the heck you are? You've got no recognition. But if you're the expert, think of the #1 agent in your area, the one that just is always on all of those billboards and buses and probably spends $1 million a year on advertising. They probably don't have as hard of a time selling because they are the expert. That's what a brand does. It does selling for you. The scale engine will nurture your leads effectively and automatically. And it will also generate a nonstop flow of money-making opportunities, again, that you have to work for, just like we saw with Matt. So that screenshot was from right before this webinar. I didn't like take a screenshot from like my best case scenario and shared it. That is what's happening right now in Matt's database. Even if you don't have a massive marketing budget. So it doesn't take a lot of money to make this happen. Again, let me reiterate one thing. There's 2 resources basically that help move a business forward. Again, assuming you have all of the knowledge and expertise and everything. 2 resources is time and money. If you have enough money, you can hire other people to spend the time to do it. If you don't have all of the money in the world to hire people, you got to spend the time doing it. So anybody right now, if you don't have the money and you don't want to spend the time, it's going to be really hard for you to get this off the ground. Okay? If you have the money, it's a lot easier for you, right? But it's nonsense that you need money to get this going. You don't. It's just a lot harder because you can't hire anybody else. But if you're willing to put in the work, you can do this. I want you to forget about not having enough of a following to be the expert. Forget about not knowing which softwares or strategies to use for follow-up. Forgetting about not having the money to hire lead generation agencies. You don't need that. Sorry, Annette, I'm going to call on you again if that's okay. A couple of things here. So you used a lead generation agency, I guess concurrently before us. What were the lead generation results that you were getting? How much did you spend with them? How much are you spending on ads with us? And in terms of what do the results look like?
Well, I didn't know I had to be prepared with all of that information, but yes, I was in a place where I was with Inabox, but a little bit distracted. I had a windfall of some money, and I decided to invest in some guaranteed results. This they do everything for you type of company, and really the only promises I got were appointments. And I thought, well, if I can get in front of people, then no problem. But that didn't even happen. But I spent basically $14,000 over the period of 6 months for them to get me X amount of leads or appointments, which they never did. And the only thing they gave me, because they didn't help me get appointments, was a couple more months of leads that they didn't give me appointments for. And then when I got less busy with doing a different job, I got back into Inabox and in their coaching every week, and saw what Matt was doing. And I'm like, well, hell, they're only spending $300 or so for one ad a month. And so that is all I'm spending right now. And I don't know when I started, Oliver, if you can remember, but I think I have 80 leads in there right now. And
About a month ago, I think.
But it's pretty consistent. And the other ones, I mean, I don't know if you can remember because I shared all that with you, but I didn't have very many. And it was for 6 or 8 months that they did it for me. And it wasn't even 200 leads. So in a month, I've gotten about 80 or, probably a couple of day that I'm getting average. And yeah, we follow up with them ourselves, and it's working out a lot better so far.
Yeah. Okay. So $14,000 for 200 leads in 6 months, or if it's been a month, let's say $300. I'm not sure that it has been a month, or $300 for 80 leads. So, I mean, it's just a crazy difference. But again, just to reiterate, it's not easy, takes work, and that's going to follow up these leads. And that's an action taker. If you're not an action taker, I swear to God, you won't make money in our program. But if you are, you will. It's as simple as that, just to clarify. So, but anyway, the point of this is not to sell. I will talk about Inabox at the end, but the point of this is to provide value. Okay. I'm going to show you I'm going to get you started on the process of building the type of consistent business that you used to dream about. So guys, just type I'm ready in the chat. Let me know who's ready to dive into this exact process, which will allow you to create results like these for yourself. We're going to get into them. And just to clarify, nothing that I'm going to tell you right now costs any money. Like I said, if you had a ton of money, you just hire somebody else to do this. There are things that you could hire. There are things that you could hire us for full service. I'm not talking about that right now. I'm talking about organic strategies for people that are willing to put in the work. As we mentioned earlier, why now? Odds are, if you're on the GCI roller coaster, it is because you haven't built a brand that people know about. So you have to work twice as hard for every single listing. That's the reality of the situation. People don't know you. People don't care. They're apathetic and they're just done. They don't care to work with you because they don't know who you are. So why would they? And so all of the work that you've done until now for your database will be nothing if you let those people forget about you, right? So that's the second part, is brand, automate, scale. So the brand is the first part, automate is the second, where if you generate leads where you don't have the follow-up systems in place, they'll forget about you and it will all be for nothing. And then finally, when it talks about scale, the lead generation, an ongoing supply of leads will ensure that you get to enjoy the future that you're working so hard for. If you let your pipeline run dry, your business will run dry. That's why you need all three components working together. If you have a brand but nothing else, you're only relying on buy or die buyers or sellers. If you have automations and nothing else, great, you got great systems, you got no one to run them through. And then if you've got a great lead generation system, but you don't have any brand or automation, you'll be literally running on a hamster wheel until the end of time, until I guess you kill yourself from hard work, I guess. So here are the 3 steps that'll generate consistent transactions, even if you're getting started. Step 1, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we're going to get into it. Step 1 of building a consistent real estate business is become the expert. So step 1 of 3 is become the expert. Let me tell you a misconception about becoming the expert. And I'm looking at you guys with your cameras on. Just raise your hand if this is something that you think. It takes a lot of time, a lot of money. I need to do a lot of volume before people can start truly seeing me as the expert in my markets. That's probably a lot of the time what people think. Haven't been around for long enough. I don't know. I'm an imposter. Who the heck am I to be the expert in my area? It's not true. The reality of the situation is what it requires is quality, relevant content produced consistently over time. That's it. Again, ranking on the first page of Google and that doesn't really hurt so much, but that's the reality of the situation. To be the expert, you need quality, relevant content produced consistently and methods to make that as easy for you to actually implement as possible. And I know, Bill, I mentioned to you, if anybody else wants to talk about this also, I just think this is more catered to Bill, but the social media product that we just launched inside of Inabox, this is really what it does. It's all about creating that relevant content consistently and making it as painfully easy for you, painlessly easy, whatever, as possible. That's the idea. But you don't have to hire someone full service. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. What that means for you is even if you have no money, you just started and you have 0 transactions, you can still become the expert in your market, although not overnight. Do you remember beforehand I showed you Zahava, who's got over 20,000 transactions in her every reel? She just started. And you would never know because you see 25,000 views. You think she's killing it, but it's not. I mean, she's killing it, but she just started. But here's what you do to actually make this happen. Here's how you create consistent, relevant content. I need everybody to really make sure that you're listening up right now. This is the step. Step 1. I really do want to get into it, but it's really important that I qualify one more thing. I'm not saying anything that is like a cliche, this isn't like mindset stuff. This is all very, very, very practical. Every single step here. Step 1 is identify exactly who your ideal audience will be. People looking to buy or sell is not an audience, right? Qualified people is not an audience. A 63-year-old person called Joe Schmo who loves living in California because he enjoys the scenery and he's looking to retire with an investment property, that's an audience. So identify who your target audience is. Think, which is the type of person that I would like to be perceiving me as the expert, right? That's it. I don't really care if whatever, you know what I mean? The second step is, once you know the kind of person that you want to see as the expert, identify which type of content your avatar wants to consume. What do I mean by that? If you're working with investors, for example, go to investor Facebook groups. Go to ChatGPT. ChatGPT, it's very important that you get the prompt right, and I'll show you in a moment what I mean by that. Go to Reddit. Just find out what people are talking about. My way of generating, anybody who likes my content, right? Heads up, the way that I get that content is I go into the Real Estate Mastermind Facebook group and groups like this, and I scroll and I find questions that people are asking. And that's how I get the question, my YouTube video I just created of, what should I advertise for this budget? What should I advertise for that budget? Right? The best CRMs out there. I saw somebody going on about how you don't need a CRM. Google Sheets is good enough. No, I'm sorry, buddy, but I made him a YouTube video and I sent it over to him and I said, no disrespect, I didn't say your name, but you're flat out wrong. I didn't say it like that, but that's basically what I should have said. Okay. So find out where your people are at and then look at the questions that they're asking. You don't have to overcomplicate it. This is what they're asking. They're telling you what they want. Okay. Create a social media content calendar based on the questions that your avatar is actually asking. Then I want you to compile 20 questions every month. Not hard, guys. Go into the Facebook group, scroll down every month, find 20 questions. Then you can record 5 Instagram Reels or TikTok videos every week, just answering those questions. So I go into the Inabox, I go into the Real Estate Mastermind Facebook group. I scroll down and one of the questions is, hey, I'm a new agent. Do you guys have any advice for me? That's good enough for a YouTube video for me, to be honest. But if I wanted to make a reel of this, I would take on my phone. This would be one of my 20 questions. And I'd say, if you're a new agent starting out, here are 5 things I'd recommend. First off is find a mentor. Second off is, and that's it. Just record yourself answering the questions. Not complicated. Again, simple, not easy. Statistically speaking, nothing to do with you guys. 90% of the people will hear this and will go, that's amazing, and then not do it. So this is just the reality of the situation is, but it doesn't get simpler than this. Okay. It's like those people who say, when I get a gym in my basement, I'm going to work out. Guys, this is the gym in your basement, right? Me and Bill's trying to get me in, like, to be absolutely ripped. Look at Bill. This dude just like can freaking lift a truck or something over there. Bill's trying to get me ripped. This is not my priority in my life, is my own business and my client's business. The reality is I'm not going to lie to myself and say, if I had a gym in my basement, I would do it. I have a gym in my basement. I'm still not ripped. Okay. That's the reality of the situation. Then I want you, after you've done this, you've created 5 reels per week. Use the same answers to create 1 to 2 carousels per week to supplement your social media videos. So when I have, like, say, for example, the 5 things I would do as a brand new agent, I would then take each of those 5 things, copy and paste a little snippet of what it is that I actually said, put them into my carousel. And now the same video I've repurposed into a carousel. We're talking twice a week. You can even, honestly, if you want to make it even easier, sit down once a month, answer each of the 20 questions, and then move on. And now you've got your whole month's worth of content. All you got to do every day is just go and upload it. That's it. Okay, guys, this is pretty simple stuff, right? Okay. Marketers love things being complicated because it makes it that you guys have to pay us more money. It's not complicated, guys. Sorry, secret's out. Okay. Now I want to give you an example. What I'm about to show you, I did in 10 seconds. I went to ChatGPT. I literally asked, and this is why I said it's all about the prompt. I went to ChatGPT and I said, okay, ChatGPT, write 20 thought-provoking questions about real estate investing that a realtor can answer to showcase his expertise to look like an expert. That was literally word for word what I asked. I'm going to show you what it spat out to me unedited. I didn't touch this. It gave me 20 ideas in 10 seconds. How do you determine the best location to invest? What factors should be considered when assessing the potential value of a property? Does anybody deal with real estate investments in this room? Yeah, Bill, okay. Okay. Anybody who deals with real estate investments, Bill, you give us thumbs up if you think these are good questions as we go. What strategies can investors use to maximize their return in real estate? Guys, these questions, I swear to you, I'm not exaggerating. There's no hyperbole. It took me 10 seconds. I asked it, clicked enter, bam, month of content. Doesn't get simpler than this. Again, it gets easier than this. You could hire somebody thousands of dollars to do it for you. But if you don't have the money, you got to have the time. This is how you build up that money that you can hire this out. This is what scale looks like. Okay, but here's the thing, like I said, this is just one of the authority strategies that we leverage at Inabox. It's very important to know this because the most important thing about building your authority, it's not just about social media. The most important thing is longevity and consistency. The trick is to find one thing that works for you and then slowly stack authority strategies. So Annette, for example, has been looking at making a Facebook group. Right? Matt has discussed, I think Matt might have left us. Matt has, I can say anything now. He's not here. Matt has discussed building a YouTube channel. And when I say what I say to them when they say that is, I don't think you're ready yet. Or, okay, this is dialed in, let's go. But you have to dial one thing in before you move on to the next. Because as you probably know in this industry, everyone's vying for your attention. So focus is like everything. So one at a time. Could you imagine if you had exact metrics, you knew exactly what you were looking for before you knew you were ready to move on to the next thing? That's what's really important here. So social media first, when you've got this dialed in, when you've done this, you've got the processes down, you're posting every day, and then let's look at a podcast. Let's look at a Facebook group. Let's look at YouTube, but it's got to go steps at a time. Then make sure you've dialed in just one strategy before you start stacking another strategy. That's the name of the game. Great news is, you can even use one strategy to make the next one easier. So this is just a little bit of foreshadowing. Annette is on YouTube. Annette is able to repurpose her YouTube videos, resize them, and make them for Instagram Reels. That's my Instagram Reels are from my podcast. Very rarely will I take out my phone and actually record an Instagram Reel. My podcast, I break it up. I have my video editors. They just break it up and they post it. That's it. So I'm working really not a whole ton. I'm doing a podcast a week. I'm doing 2 videos a week, and I just repurpose those for my Instagram Reels and stuff. This is why most agents start YouTube channels, they start their podcast, but they don't last because they overwhelm themselves and they don't have the focus that's required. Exactly, Annette, working smart. Does this sound like, I mean, you guys resonating with this? Does this sound like something that I guess is happening in your businesses sometimes? It's really overwhelming when everybody wants something from you and everybody's trying to sell their thing and everybody's got all of the best reasons under the sun as to why their thing is the best. And the reality is maybe they're not wrong. If someone was selling a YouTube course, they would have very good arguments as to why you need to be on YouTube because you need to build up your brand and the most organic. And they're not wrong. The problem is if you do 6 things and none of them are wrong for you, but you're trying to do them all together, none of them happen. That's the problem. Okay. This is just one of the strategies, like I said. Oh, I think this is replaying the slide. Okay. Step 2, ladies and gentlemen, is all about nurture. Nurture your leads and make it as simple as freaking possible to nurture your leads as consistently as possible. This is the misconception about nurturing. The only way to maintain a personal touch in my follow-up strategy is by actually dedicating time and personally calling every single lead in my database from time to time. Oh, it's exhausting just reading that. Like nobody has time for that. It doesn't work like that. We have technology. That's not to say that you shouldn't be calling your database. You absolutely should be. But your entire follow-up strategy is I'm going to call everybody in my database. Like that's not how it works. It's exhausting. And it works when you've got 100 people in your database. What happens when you get 5,000 people in your database? Unless you're going to tell me that the way for you to scale is to cap out the amount of people in your database, we got to figure out how to scale this and we got to figure it out fast. Because otherwise, you're not able to have more than 300 people in your database. Otherwise, you'll kill yourself. So here's the reality of the situation, guys. There are so many other means of including personalization into your follow-up that are entirely automated. What that means for you is all of those hours in your life that you've spent following up manually, you can do that without sacrificing the quality of your lead nurture and take back all of that time by incorporating personalized automations. Let me give you a quick example. How about a voicemail drop? How personalized is that? Right? I see Tia right there in the middle of my screen. Hey, Tia, this is Oliver calling. I just wanted to reach out and say, I appreciate you doing this and that. Today happens to be, I did call Tia. I called you manually, so maybe I'm shooting myself in the foot here. But hey, Tia, I noticed that you mentioned that on the form that I sent you, you asked for this. I just wanted to send it over to you personally. Okay, that could be a text or a voicemail drop. Hey, Tia, I just wanted to see how things are going. It's been a minute since we spoke. How are you? How's the family? Personalized, but automated and scalable. I can send it to, sorry, I wouldn't say, hey, Tia. I would say, hey, this is Oliver. But that's the idea. Make sense? Okay, here's what you do. Again, I'm not just talking fluff here, guys. I'm not just talking mindset. I want to show you exactly what you actually do. I'm going to show you 3 simple automated follow-up campaigns that will ensure that you're always able to stay top of mind with your customers. Here they are. Number 1, we all know these weekly email newsletters. I'm just going to give a quick tweak to show you how to make it a little bit easier for you before I show you the next ones, which in my mind are crazy. But anyway, number 1 is create weekly emails that are geared towards adding value to your avatar and showcase your expertise as the expert. Again, people looking to buy a home is not an avatar. 63-year-old John Smith, who lives in California and loves taking hikes and wants to buy his first investment property, that's an avatar. And when I create an email newsletter, I shouldn't be talking about the weather in California. I should be talking about investing in California, retiring in California. Maybe I could be talking about different things to do. I don't know, but it has to work for your avatar. So your avatar is important because your social media revolves around your avatar, your YouTube, your emails, everything is around your avatar. So this is what it looks like. You can even repurpose the same content that you use in your social media strategy. So Bill, you're working with investors, you mentioned. One of the questions that we asked is, what are the things that you're looking for to know if a home is going to be a great investment? That's the name of an email. How to know what produces ROI. And then you write a small paragraph recapping the reel that you just said that week. You link to the reel. That's value. Repurpose the same stuff that you've already used. Guys, again, it's not easy. You got to do it. You got to show up, which is like most of the work, but it's so doable as long as you're organized, as long as you're focused. Okay. Campaign number 2. Guys, let me know in the chat again. I know I called you guys to let you know that this is going to be kind of a more intimate setting. I want to make sure that people aren't quiet because they're too scared to talk, like that they have nothing yet, no questions or whatever. Just a heads up. If you guys have any questions, stop me in the chat, take yourself off here and be like, Ollie, 1 second. Okay. Campaign number 2 is a checking in campaign. This is easy. This is easy and simple. These are one of the only times that I'm going to show you something that's easy to implement. One time, write a text, record a voicemail drop, and write an email to everyone in your database, letting them know that you're thinking about them. Like I said, Tia, I'm going to use you as an example again, because I just did. When I would send Tia a voicemail job, hey, this is Oliver, just checking in, wanted to see how you're doing. Hit me up sometime, would love to catch up. Write a text. Hey, Tia, just send you a voicemail. Just want to see how you guys are doing. Write an email. Hey, been thinking about you. What's going on? Maybe make it a little bit less creepy than that, but that's the idea. Once you've got a text, an email, and a voicemail drop written, here it is. I probably should have read that and it would have been less, on the fly. Hey, John, this is Jane from XYZ Brokerage. I just wanted to see how you guys were doing. There are some great options that just came up on the market. I think you might really be interested in them. So would you like me to shoot over some homes that just came on the market and in a question mark to initiate a response? Super simple. Write that. Then create 4 to 5 variations of the same text, voicemail, and email. Heavens, copy and paste it into ChatGPT and say, write 4 variations of this text. Like, it's painful how easy this is.
I have a question.
Yes, Tia, what's up?
But is that a check-in, or is that like you're checking in, but you're also selling something? Like, I'm trying to send you something. That's not just a check-in.
So it depends on your avatar. Again, you've got to do it in a way that relates to them.
Okay.
So if your avatar, for example, is like, let's say, I know Annette works with busy moms. Maybe a busy mom just really wants another mom to talk to. So Annette can be like, hey, how you guys holding up? How you guys doing? Whatever. That's what resonates with her avatar. But for someone like Bill, who deals with investors, hey, some great investment properties just came up. Wanted to know if you wanted me to shoot them over. So it's all about knowing your audience. And yes, it's kind of like, it's funny. There's so much conflicting advice. Some people are like, don't be afraid to ask for the sale. And then other people are like, You should be focusing so much more on relationship building. The reality is they're both true. Focus on relationships, but also ask for the sale.
So basically mirror who your target audience is.
Literally couldn't have said it better myself.
Okay.
Okay. Once you've created 4 to 5 variations of that, I want you to set it up in a workflow. Again, I don't know which CRM you're using. Inabox can do this, but I want you to send a voicemail, a text, and an email. Wait 4 months to 6 months, then send another text, another voicemail, another email. Wait 4 to 6 months, send the next variation. And now every 4 months or so, you're sending a new text, a new email, a new voicemail. And then at the end of the process, once you've done, let's say you've got 5 emails and texts sent out, right? Every 4 months, that's about 20 months worth of follow-up. That's almost 2 years. You repeat the process back again. You set it up that the workflow goes right back to the beginning. And now every 4 to 6 months until the end of eternity. Hey, just checking in, seeing how you're doing. Hey, just checking in, seeing how you're doing. It's not annoying because it's once every 6 months. It's 2 times a year. That's easy. You guys could set this up in about 8 minutes. Write it out once, put it into ChatGPT, and set up the campaign. That's it. Anyway, let's get into number 3. Number 3 is a referral request. Okay, you're going to ask for referrals. I want you to do the same thing. Write a text, voicemail, drop, email to everyone in your database, asking if they know anyone that's looking to buy or sell. Hey, John, this is Jane from XYZ Brokerage. Not sure if you're following the market these days, but there are some great opportunities that are popping up almost daily. Do you happen to know of anyone thinking of buying or selling a home? Again, you want to do a voicemail drop, record the same thing. Just don't say, John, hey, just wanted to reach out. This is Oliver from XYZ Brokerage. Not sure if you're following the market these days, but that's it. Now you've got that. Again, write 4 to 5 variations of the same text, same voicemail, same email, and send different variation of that text, voicemail, and email every 4 to 6 months. At the end of the campaign, repeat the workflow. So now every 6 months, they're receiving a just checking in. Every 6 months, they're receiving a referral request. And if you don't want to do it, let's say, if you don't want to do 2 of each per year, so it comes out that you're reaching out to these people 4 times per year, which I certainly don't think is excessive by any stretch of the imagination. But if for some reason you don't want to do that, change the times however much you want to do it. I would say to do it every 4 months means you've got 3 referral requests and 3 checking ins per year. I think that's fine, but that's your call. Make sense, guys? Guys, can we get a double thumbs up if this is like simple and easy? Okay. Nelson, you gave me 1 thumb up. I'm going to go in the corner and cry now. There you go. I was going to say, I'm not going on until I get 2. Okay. Alex, I love that you wrote 2 thumbs up. How much harder was that than just sticking your 2 thumbs up? Alex, the man. Okay. So let's keep going, guys. Step 3, and the final step of building a consistent real estate business, prospect like your life depended on it. The second this goes stale, your business goes stale. Here's a misconception about follow-up. The only thing to do in follow-up, the only way of prospecting is cold calling, which sucks. That's the misconception. The reality is that effective as it may be, and don't kid yourself, cold calling is very, very effective. As effective as it may be, it's not the only way to prospect. Now, that said, I want to qualify something. There are frameworks and scripts that you can use to leverage for cold calling that almost entirely removes the rejection, making it far more effective and even enjoyable. And I'll give you an example about my script when I cold call. As I start my cold calls to my agents, I don't start out by saying, hey, my name is Oliver from Inabox. I've got a really cool thing. Do you mind if I show you? Do you have 5 minutes? I don't do that. I say, hey, is this Jane? Yes, hi. Just to have complete transparency, this is a cold call. So I do have something marketing related to pitch your business at the end. So you could either hang up on me now or give me 30 seconds and we'll go from there. What do you say? Some people hang up on me. Some people say, sure, you got 30 seconds. Some people say that's a really nice approach. If they hang up on me, they don't know my name. They don't know my company. There is literally nothing personal about it. So little things like that will make it easier for you. So if you really wanted to cold call, there are things like that to make it easier. But that said, even if you don't want to do that, that's totally fine. The strategy that I'm going to talk about is not cold calling or any cold outreach. But what that means for you is that you can flood your pipeline with great opportunities, even if you say, Ollie, throw your frameworks at my face as much as you want. I will not cold call. That's fine. You're still good to go. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to develop strategic partnerships with assisted living communities in your market. Now, I believe everyone here is consuming my content, been in my 5-day challenges, whatever. So you probably have heard of this one before, but let me walk you through it. Here's the reason that assisted living communities make some of the greatest strategic partnerships. Number one, they're abnormally friendly. They are like, they work with like retirees for a living. Like you have to be, imagine like a cold person working there, it just wouldn't work. They have to be friendly. So they're not cutthroat. The other thing is assisted living communities, particularly the independent living communities, are expensive. So new residents of these places usually have to sell before they can afford to move in. So here's the opportunity for both you and the marketing director. Call up the marketing director and say, hey, I'm a local realtor. I work with a lot of senior citizens and I'm just looking for great places to refer my clients to. Is there any way that I could get a tour of your facility? Super simple. You've now also positioned yourself that they're trying to sell themselves to you. Another reason that that works, because you're not chasing them. You've given them the opportunity to chase you. And about 8 to 9 times out of 10, they will take that opportunity. Oh, I'd love to give you a tour. Absolutely. Please. How about next Tuesday? Great. Go take a tour and say, I really love what you've got right here. I think it's really cool. You guys clearly care a lot about the people who actually live here, which is so important. Hey, before I go, I wanted to give you this. This is a little bit more information about me. Give them that brochure and then say, now, if you know of anybody that's looking to sell their home before they move in, I'd love to help them with that. And what I'll do as a thank you is if you do refer someone to me, I'll really try to incorporate your location into my process to try to kind of push your area as much as possible to get them into your beds. Now, if someone needs to sell, I don't know, I need to sell my home first. They're not going to be like, okay, good luck, go find a realtor. They're going to say, here, use this one. Because by doing so, you're going to push that listing, you're going to push that person to this assisted living community. Obviously, if it's right for them, right? But that's the reality. Guys, let me know, do you guys see this? Like, it's like a wide open opportunity, guys. And the other thing is, nobody does this. How do I know that? First off, because I don't have the following that Tom Ferry has. So even if I could scream from the mountaintops, less people would hear it than if Tom Ferry was saying it. And it's only a matter of time before he starts saying this strategy. And number two is, of the people that even hear me, sorry, but 90% of people aren't going to do this. There is such a phenomenal opportunity to just do it. Simple, not easy, because you still got to go around to these places. If you could get 20, 30 places in your market that you've built relationships with, and you're the person, let's say they only send you one per year. That's a lot of money. It's a volume game, but it's not cold. You're reaching out to really friendly people. Visit them every couple of weeks with donuts. That was Liz's idea. How simple is this, guys? Okay. So can you guys give me, like, let me know what's going on with you right now. How are you guys feeling about this? Doable? Well, I got 2 thumbs up from Nelson. That's high praise right there. Okay. Here's the thing though. This is just one of the lead generation strategies that we leverage at Inabox. Like I said, it's about focus. If you were hypothetically going to start with us and you say, I want to do lead generation with the assisted living communities, but I also want to run ads and I also want to do cold calling, I will say one at a time, please. That's what I do. It has to be focused. And that's what you guys should do in your own business as well. Because if you try all 3, you will do none of them. Maybe we could push assisted living and like a paid ad, or maybe assisted living and cold calling, maybe, but very reluctantly. The most important thing, like I said, is consistency when it comes to generating leads. The trick is find one strategy that works really well for you. Again, all lead generation strategies that have ever existed work to some degree, but they don't all work for everybody in the same way. It's about finding what works best for you and then slowly stacking those strategies on top of each other. Exactly, Annette. Can't preach consistency enough. Make sure that you've dialed in just one strategy before you start stacking another strategy. And this is why most agents that start YouTube channels, start podcasts, they don't last a long time because they try doing too much too fast. In fact, just earlier this year, I said I'm going to post a YouTube video every single day. Had I have the best of intentions. I made it so simple for myself. That's a lot of work. I'm doing it twice a week right now. Still pretty good. But I tried to take on too much too fast. So I actually saw recently a post about this thing called 75 Hard. It's like 75 days of like intense workouts and like no sleep, no eating. And like the only person in the world who can do it properly is like probably Bill Cunningham. Like nobody else in the world can actually do that. That's not sustainable for most people. It's about consistent focus and doing it smart. Which is, by the way, another side point, a much less sexy thing than like feeling inspiration and being like, I'm going to do everything in the whole world. And this is probably one of the biggest objections I get is, I don't know, it doesn't seem like, it's just too methodical. It's too organic. People want like the quickest thing. And then like a year later, they're like, oh, I found out that it doesn't exist. That's what happens. So the only shortcut I'll give you is to tell you right now, stop looking for the shortcut. Just work smart. That's the only shortcut in the world that you need. So guys, knowing all this, I like to be entertaining, but it is not my job in my mind to be entertaining. I want you to feel good about this, feel empowered. Can somebody please go off of mute for a second and let me know how you're feeling about this? Do you feel excited, empowered? What's going on? Who's going to be brave?
I like what I'm hearing, Oliver, without a doubt. My father lives in an assisted living facility, so it's kind of interesting to see the dynamic on how those facilities work. And I'm in Southwest Florida. We have a lot of seniors down here. So
amazing. Do you have any questions about what it looks like, just so you're fully equipped to go on?
no, the crazy thing, and I think we've known each other for a while now, and I've used one of your products. And my biggest problem is starting 10 things at the same time and doing them only 20%.
Yep.
So and that's what I like about this is the structure behind it. That's what I need in my life is structure. So
yeah, amazing. That's
my 2 cents there.
That's music to my ears. Like the fact that, again, not everyone's going to buy into the idea that we're not going to be making millionaires in like 5 seconds. Like I said, it's a much less sexy product than other people being like, you're going to make $6 million in your first year at GCI. Like that's not, you won't, but you'll get there. Tia, I'm just going to call on people who their cameras are on. So sorry guys, your cameras are on. You made a mistake. I'm going to call on you. Tia, how are you feeling about this?
I think it's really good information. Thank you so much. I love the senior citizens, and I was just in a new senior citizens community that's coming up in the Raleigh area. It hasn't even been built yet. And I visited there and I told my husband, I need to figure out a way how to get in there. And so just for you to just drop that was amazing. I was like, I really need to call. I just told him that I think it was Saturday. And so I'm definitely glad to hear that. And just like the other person just said, my thing is I do a million things at once. And so it's like I'm a jack of all trades. Yeah, so that's kind of that thing. And so I just need that consistency and narrowing them down and then working on them one by one.
Amazing. Amazing. Okay, Nelson, what about you? How are you feeling?
Well, if I can come off mute, actually pretty good. And I know this works because for the last 9-10 months, I've been doing it with my nonprofit, which is why I'm here, because I have more time, because I've hired people and I've scaled from 2 employees to 12 and $60,000 to $3 million.
Yes, sir. Guys, that's and again, it was not easy. It required a lot of forethought and work up front, but consistently you got to this point, right? It wasn't like an overnight fix.
No, it wasn't overnight. So I'm kind of like, now I have more time. I'm going to use the same strategies for my real estate business.
Yes, sir. Amazing. Absolutely. Okay. Annette, does kind of what they're saying sound in line with the strategies that we're kind of implementing?
Yes, and full transparency, when I started with Oliver, I was managing a brokerage office as an employee and doing my real estate business. And so I didn't implement everything in order that they recommended. So when I came back in, I kind of I got in on this YouTube thing. So I still have stuff I can go back and do, but I think it's simple, brilliant. And what makes it work for me, because I've been doing this more 100% since December, is the fact that this group in collaboration with everybody and staying in line with Oliver. And sometimes he does say, pull back a little bit. Let's not do that yet. Let's just wait, focus on this, get better at that. I really feel like those are what works for me in this program.
Amazing, guys. I really appreciate the insight. Okay, like I mentioned, yeah, Nelson, exactly. Trying to do everything at once is a failure. Well, in marketing school, one of the lines that they said is if I throw 5 ping pong balls to you, you won't catch any of them. But if I catch one of them, you'll catch it. And then I can throw 5 of them in succession, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you'll end up with all 5 of them. Right? It's so true. I mean, in the context that they were saying it there is when you're marketing something, don't market like 15 features about why it's amazing. What's the benefit? What are they getting? Which is why the benefit of this is build a consistent real estate business. Now, that's not to say that agents that are doing well, that have consistent business, that they can't succeed, because there are ways consistency looks different in different forms. But I'm not trying to have 5 different messages that I'm throwing all you at once. It's one thing that you can actually catch, that you can actually pick up. And the same thing with working 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm following my same strategies. That's how I have the Instagram reels posted consistently. I have the podcast, I have the YouTube, I have the Facebook group. There's so many strategies that I've leveraged using my own systems in my own business. Okay. So the question is, do you still feel like you'll always be worried about where your next transaction is coming from if you follow these strategies? Or do you feel like consistent transactions is actually a possibility, guys? Write a 1 in the chat if you feel like following these consistently, and once you've accepted that it will require work and patience, let me know in the chat, write a 1 in the chat if you believe that this is something that's doable. Amazing. Does anybody have any questions about all of this so far? We're kind of just about to finish up before I send you guys your gift. But anybody have any questions about this? No? Okay. If anybody wants to discuss any strategies further, just reach out to me. I'm more than happy to get on extra calls with you guys if you want. Okay. So the question is, are you guys ready to stop working overtime just to keep your business afloat? Start reaping the benefits of a consistent, successful business, and allowing you to stop worrying about where your next transaction will come from, allowing you to feel like your business is finally ready to give you the life you've always dreamed of. Let me walk through something here right now. The goal of what we do is to stack authority and lead gen strategies systematically, like I mentioned. And that way, by the end of the year, you could have 4 to 5 authority stacks on top of each other, 4 to 5 lead generation stacks on top of each other, all working simultaneously at the same time. That's consistency. Facebook group, podcast, YouTube, right? And add to the 5-day challenge, organic, webinar, all of this stuff working simultaneously. That's the idea. When we started, I promised you the Inabox's vid100 scheduler as a thank you for being here, and I will send it over to you. But just really quickly before I deliver your gift, I want to give you a very quick insight. Take a moment to tell you a little bit more about Inabox. What does Inabox do? Like I mentioned, we help real estate agents build consistent businesses so that they can stop worrying about where the next transaction is going to come from. It's a coaching program built into a state-of-the-art software. It provides the exact blueprint to follow to generate consistent business, just like you saw with the case studies beforehand, and the software to run your business out of. Some of the reasons that people love Inabox is that there is coaching and mentorship included. It's not included. It's like one of the pillars. There's the community. There's the accountability. That's a big thing to make sure that you're keeping focused. Also, all of the people in our program, even though they're following it in their own way, because not everybody's doing YouTube, not everybody's doing social media, but we're all following the same curriculum. So you're getting everybody in there who are basically following the same idea, same structure. There's unparalleled customer support and service. Now, if anybody's ever looked on your screen right now and you see somebody called Julie Borr here, this is a pretty wholesome moment about to happen. That's my mom. See, Annette, my mom is like in charge of the account. She's in charge of the customer service. It's like ridiculous how quick she is to respond to people. Like that is all that she does. And it's insane. So at no point in time will you ever be unsure about what's going on. Bill, I know that you actually reached out like months after you stopped with that other program and reached out to my mom, and she was fairly responsive pretty quickly and like got right to it. Like Bill wasn't paying us at that point. Like, that's fine. It doesn't matter. That's what my mom does. So she's in charge of customer support and service. There's a culture inside of our program of growth and consistency that doesn't include hustle culture. God, I hate hustle culture. See you, Gio. And then there's a completely customizable software. Wait, I want to give you guys the vid100 scheduler. I'll go quickly. What it looks like with us is the first thing that we do is we set up your systems, onboard you into the program, make sure that you're ready to scale, that your systems are automated, that you have follow-up, you have methods of generating leads, capturing leads, nurturing leads. That is structured. You just literally spend the first month or so setting that up in a way that works for you. It has to work for you. It's not the same thing for everybody. Once you're ready to go, once you've got that, let's start stacking. Authority 1, lead gen 1. Authority 2, lead gen 2. Okay. The other thing is every single week we have 2 calls. We have an authority call on Wednesday at noon Eastern time, and we have a lead generation call on Friday at noon Eastern time. And that way, every week we say, what's going on with your authority stack? You're doing social media. Let's take a look. How can we make it better? How can we make it better? And every week you're iterating it, you're improving it, you're making it better. See, Alyssa, every week you're making it better. And that way, after time, you're ready to actually stack the second one on. But it's important that we can see, as well as you, that you're not just going at it, you're being systematic about it. Same thing with lead generation. It's really important to stay focused. At a glance, what you'll get is a scale engine blueprint for real estate success. You'll get the custom logo and branding kit. You'll get lead generation blueprints, weekly authority calls, weekly lead generation calls, like I just mentioned. You'll get access to the community. You'll get the framework to follow to get onto the first page of Google, right? You'll get done with you automations that are working for you. You'll get access to the website and funnel builder. You'll become an Inabox referral agent, the actual software itself, and way more. That's why it's called Inabox. It's your entire business in a box. As long as you buy into the idea that you're willing to work hard for it, but know exactly what you need to do. Focus is all in. Accountability is all in. If you're fine with working hard, this will work for you. It's your business in a box. That's the idea. So guys, if you want to discuss this further, go to goinabox.com/call to see what it actually looks like with you. If you wanted, also write a 1 in the chat. Mom, maybe you can note it. If anybody wants us to reach out to kind of book a call, just write a 1 in the chat, or what you could do on your own time is go and book a call as well. But if you write a 1 in the chat, then we'll just reach out to you ourselves to make it a little bit easier. And while you guys are doing that, I want you guys to know that by doing so, we're going to be able to make your dreams of a consistent real estate business a reality, as long as you're willing to put in the work to make that happen. Okay. Before you go, I promised you something. I'm going to send over your VidHundred scheduler at if you go to this website. So I want to show you what this kind of looks like. As you can see over here, 100 social media video ideas. And this is what the guide actually looks like. It's going to show you what you need to kind of get started. Give me a moment. I think I sent it back. And then here, 25 for local agents, 25 video ideas for local agents, 25 ideas for first-time home buyers, 25 ideas for listing agents, 25 ideas for investors. Full transparency, the same processes that I used to show you how to generate the content is the same processes that I used to generate that content as well. I don't withhold information. I'm not trying to make it look smarter than it is. It's not complicated. It just requires understanding your avatar. That's it. So guys, I really do, from the bottom of my heart, want to thank you all for joining us. Again, before I let you go, I want to ask if anybody has any questions.